from the northeast corner of South Africa. We're in the Kruger Park, and in amongst those beautiful grass stalks is something even more beautiful. It's a young male leopard. My name is James Henry. On camera today we have Senzo. Hello, Senzo. Senzo's given us a thumbs up, and we're going to go back to that leopard, and for the next 10 minutes on this Nat Geo Facebook broadcast, we're going to be looking at that leopard and seeing what he gets up to. I'll tell you a bit about him. I will tell you a little bit about Safari Live and what it is that we do out here, and I'd like to encourage you and indeed demand of you that you write to us and ask us questions and send us your comments in the comments section of this Facebook Live broadcast. I'm going to move slightly forward so we get a better view of the young male leopard. He was a year old on the 2nd of February this year, and you might say to yourself, how on earth could you possibly know that he was a year old on the 2nd of February? Well, the answer is we saw him on the day he was born. And the day he was born, the 2nd of February 2016, we found him and his sister and his mother in a little cave not too far from here in a dry riverbed. Look at him sitting there. He's on the hunt at the moment, and we've watched his life just about, well, not on a daily basis, but certainly on a at least thrice weekly basis ever since then. And he's going through a very rough time at the moment. You can see he's closing his eyes on cue. He's going through a rough time because he is just over a year old. That is very young for a male leopard to be going independent. But he's almost being forced into independence because his mother has disappeared. A month ago she disappeared. We don't know where she's gone. We don't know why she disappeared. If she's dead, if she's alive, we have no idea. His mother's name was Karula, a very famous Safari Live character. And this is Hosana, her son. And he's about to go through, well, his independence rite of passage. And Jen, you say, wow, he really is beautiful. Yes, he is, but, you know, it's very difficult to look at a leopard and think anything other than, wow, that is beautiful. And so your instinct, Jen, is completely correct in my opinion. Now, we do this every single day from 5:30 in the morning to 8:30, and then again in the evening from 3:30 to 6:30. And that's Central African time, so you can work out what time of the day that is wherever you happen to be in the world. And at the moment, there are two other people out. Jamie, she's out on foot. She's about to go home because the sun has just set here on the Kruger National Park. And Byron is looking, he's hunting frantically for something that has caused Kudu to start alarm calling. Now, Patty, you're wondering if he will survive without his mother. Paddy, the chances are good. He's now, what are we on, the 12th of April, I suppose, so he's had March and February and April, so he's 15 months old, and that is not too young for a young male leopard to be able to survive on his own. He is eating, he's struggling to catch big stuff, but he's definitely eating something because he's been a month without his mum. And so I think he'll survive. His sister is in the same boat. She is also trying to make her way on his own. And Tracy, you say how long will they normally stay with their mothers? Well, it's not so much a question of them staying with their mothers. He would probably stay within her territory until he was about 2 years old maybe, and then he'd start wandering a bit further afield. And the thing is that he would eat from her. She would allow him to take food. He would actually start bullying her off kills after a little while. So, you know, he's young to be without that extra supplemental food. He wouldn't always be with her, but when she made a kill, he would almost certainly be around to go and eat it. He's a gorgeous colour. Oh, now what I didn't tell you is where you can watch the stream. So, I mean, if you want to go and join Byron on his hunt for whatever's making those kudu alarm call, wildsafariLive.com is where you'll find us. That's wildsafariLive.com. It's a pretty quick stream. You can ask questions on Twitter at #SafariLive. And otherwise, you can just enjoy the atmosphere of Africa wherever you happen to be in the world. Melissa, you want to know if he has a tribe. Melissa, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to clarify what you mean. Perhaps you mean a herd or a group or a pack, something like that. He doesn't, Melissa. Leopards are solitary animals. They live alone. The only cats that live in groups are lions, basically, and some male cheetah, but leopards live completely solitary lives unless they're with their mothers. And so, with his mother gone, he is pretty much alone. And that's how leopards like it. And as I was saying a little bit earlier on to a question on the mainstream, I was saying that it's sort of difficult for humans to fathom, because it's one of the things that we fear most is loneliness and being on our own. But a leopard doesn't fear that at all. A leopard craves being alone. Yes, of course, all of us like to be alone sometimes, but we don't like to be alone completely in solitary confinement, whereas a leopard, of course, seeks that out. And so the question that Kathy's asked is a very good one. Now, Gabriel, you're wondering at what age he'd be fully mature and independent. Well, there are two different answers. He is able to be independent in theory from now. He should be okay. But he won't be fully grown until he's about 6 years old. But before that, he will try and become territorial, probably around 4 years old. He'll try and take a territory from someone. He will probably go quite a long way from where he was born, so he won't always be in this area. He will move away from this area and set up a territory somewhere there. And so this is a precarious time for him. They go through a very precarious time for the first sort of, 5 or 6 months, until they really are good tree climbers and they're able to get away from anything that might want to come and get them. Then they're pretty safe until this period when they must go independent and they must find their way in the world alone. And that is a very difficult time for any leopard, male or female, but especially a male, because the female sets up a territory next to her mother's, and so she's surrounded by older siblings, which are less likely to be nasty to her than, say, the young males that this guy's going to come across. Tracy, you're wondering, I think, if he would steal other animals' kills. And the answer, Tracy, is yes, if he could. But a leopard is not a fighter. A leopard is a sort of stealth operative. They're not open fighters like hyenas and lions. So if he was to steal something, and yes, leopards do steal, it would have to be in a situation where he was very sure he wouldn't be hurt by stealing it. So I've seen them steal from wild dogs. The dogs will kill something, they'll leap in, grab them and pull them up into a tree. Pull a kill up into a tree where the dogs can't get at them. But that's an unusual situation. So yes, they will scavenge, but they won't take risks. Yeah, Ben, you're very observant. You say, when he closes his eyes, his ears keep moving like a house cat's. Are his ears more important? They're not more important, but what they do allow is for him to sleep. And they're an early warning system. He's not sound asleep now. He's having a gentle snooze. I've put him to sleep with my constant yakking about him. But his ears, as you say, will constantly move, listening for danger, listening for opportunities, listening for perhaps the snort of an impala to indicate that they are rutting and perhaps not paying attention to predators. Or he might hear an alarm call, which would make him lift his head immediately. Now, Mark, you says the pattern of the fur change from birth to adult. It does, but they don't get any more spots. So, it changes slightly in that obviously the spots will get further and further apart the bigger he gets. But they are born with the spots that they will die with. And so, as the old adage goes, a leopard does not change its spots. And that's absolutely true. In the same way that a zebra doesn't change its stripes, and you and I don't change our fingerprints. It's all very similar. And Joe, you're wondering if there are tagging programs for these leopards. Joe, not in this area, no. We don't tag them. They are free-ranging. They are followed on foot by trackers. We follow them on foot. We find them on foot, and then we view them in the vehicles. There are lots and lots of tourist vehicles around here, which means we have an excellent handle on the leopard population and on the leopard dynamics of this area. All right, we're going to wrap it up here, everyone. Like I say, Byron, not too far from here, he's looking for possibly another leopard, possibly a lion, causing great consternation with the kudu. If you want to watch him, then you go to wildsafarilive.com, and remember that we do this every single day, 5:30 to 8:30 in the morning, and 3:30 to 6:30 in the evening. That's Central African time. So why don't you jump on board with Byron immediately?